Two little alien twins begged a human for help, but their next words stopped his heart. The cargo bay of the transport ship hummed with the dull rhythm of faster-than-light engines. Marcus Webb sat among the crates, checking inventory logs on his datapad. 3 months into his contract with the Galactic Trade Consortium, and the work had become routine. Load cargo, travel between systems, unload cargo, repeat. The ship shuddered as it dropped out of FTL near the Raxian station. Marcus felt the familiar lurch in his stomach as normal space reasserted itself. He stood, stretching muscles cramped from hours of sitting, and prepared to begin the unloading process. That was when he heard them, 2 small voices, speaking in broken English, coming from behind a stack of supply containers. "Please, we need help." Marcus froze. He walked slowly toward the source of the voices, his hand instinctively moving to the emergency beacon on his belt. Stowaways were rare, but dangerous. Pirates sometimes used children as decoys. He rounded the corner and stopped. 2 small figures huddled between the crates. They stood perhaps 3 feet tall, with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the cargo bay lights. Their eyes were large and dark, taking up much of their delicate faces. They wore tattered clothing that might have once been formal attire, and they were unmistakably children. Twins, by the look of them, identical in every way. "Please," the one on the left said again. "We are sorry for hiding, but we had no choice." Marcus knelt down, keeping his distance. His training kicked in. Assess the situation. Don't make sudden moves. "How did you get on this ship?" "We snuck aboard at the last station," the right twin said. Her voice trembled. "We hid in the empty container marked for recycling." "That was 5 days ago," Marcus said, his mind racing. "Have you had food? Water?" They shook their heads in unison. Marcus felt his chest tighten. Whatever else they were children in need. He pulled out his emergency rations and water, handing them over. The twins took them with shaking hands and began to eat with desperate hunger. "What are your names?" Marcus asked gently. "I am Kira," the left twin said between bites. "This is my sister Lina. Why did you run away?" The twins exchanged a glance. Fear flickered across their faces. Kira spoke first. "Our planet is dying. The sun grows cold. In 2 generations, maybe less, nothing will survive. Our parents sent us away," Lina continued. "They put us on a refugee ship, heading to the sanctuary worlds. But the ship was intercepted." Marcus felt his blood run cold. "Intercepted by who?" "Slavers," Kira whispered. "They took everyone, sorted us by age and health. The strong adults went to mining operations. The elderly were left behind. The children went to the auction houses." Lena's voice dropped even lower. "We were small enough to slip through the holding cell bars. We ran. We hid in cargo ships, moving from one to another, trying to get far away." Marcus sat back on his heels, his mind reeling. The slave trade had been officially outlawed across the civilized galaxy for 200 years. But he knew, as everyone did, that it still existed in the dark corners of space. He just never expected to come face to face with it. "You're safe now," he said, though he wasn't entirely sure that was true. "I'll talk to the captain. We'll get you to a proper refugee center." The twins looked at each other again, and this time something passed between them. A decision. "There is something else," Kira said. "Something you must know." "What is it?" Lena reached into her tattered shirt and pulled out a small data chip. "Before we escaped, we heard the slavers talking. They were celebrating a new contract. A big one. The biggest they had ever received," Kira added. "They were excited because it meant expansion. More ships. More operations." Marcus took the chip carefully. "What's on this?" "We stole it from the slaver captain's quarters," Lena said. "We cannot read all of it. The encryption is beyond us. But we saw enough to know it is important." "It has coordinates," Kira said, her large eyes locked on Marcus. "And names. And something else." Marcus waited, sensing there was more. Lena's voice dropped to barely a whisper. "It has a target species. For the new operation. For mass acquisition." The cargo bay suddenly felt very cold. "What species?" Marcus asked, though part of him already knew the answer. The twins spoke together, their voices synchronized in a way that made his skin prickle. "Humans." For a moment, Marcus couldn't breathe. The words hung in the air between them. Impossible, and yet completely real. "That can't be right," he said. "Humans are protected under galactic law. We're a rising species. We have colonies, trade agreements, diplomatic protection." "We know," Kira said. "That is what makes it valuable. The data says human slaves would command the highest prices in the outer systems. Strong, adaptable, intelligent, but still naive to galactic dangers." "The operation plans to start small," Lena continued. "Remote colonies. Ships that go missing in uncharted space. Blamed on navigation errors or pirate attacks. By the time anyone realizes the pattern, thousands will be gone." Marcus stared at the data chip in his hand. It felt impossibly heavy. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. "You could have just asked for help and said nothing." "Because you are human," Kira said simply. "And because when we were taken, no one warned our people. No one told them the danger was coming. Our parents sent us on that ship thinking we would be safe. They believed in the laws and the protection they were promised." "We do not want that to happen to your people," Lena said. "We are children, but we are not fools. We know this information is dangerous. We know that giving it to you puts us at even greater risk. But it is the right thing to do," Kira finished. Marcus looked at the two small aliens before him. They had every reason to be selfish, to think only of their own survival. They had lost everything. Their home, their parents, their future. They had been hunted, imprisoned, and forced to run for their lives across the stars. And yet here they were, risking everything again to warn a species they barely knew. He carefully pocketed the data chip and stood. "Come with me. We need to see the captain immediately." The next hours were a blur. The captain, a grizzled Venusian colony veteran named Morrison, listened to the twins' story with growing horror. He locked down the ship's communications and set a new course, abandoning the scheduled cargo delivery. Within a day, they had reached a human military outpost. Marcus watched as intelligence officers swarmed over the data chip's contents. Their faces grew grim as they worked. The operation was real. The plans were detailed. If the twins hadn't stolen that ship, if they hadn't had the courage to share it, the first attacks would have begun within months. 2 weeks later, Marcus stood in a debriefing room aboard a human Navy cruiser. An admiral sat across from him, her expression grave. "The data those children provided has allowed us to shut down 3 major slaving networks," she said. "We freed over 2,000 beings from 14 different species. And we've prevented what would have been the largest coordinated attack on human colonies in our history." "What about Kira and Lena?" Marcus asked. The admiral's expression softened slightly. "They've been granted immediate citizenship and asylum. We've also tracked down their homeworld. Their people are in trouble, as they said. But we're negotiating a mass relocation treaty. They'll be reunited with their parents within 6 months." Marcus felt something unknot in his chest. "There's one more thing," the admiral said. She stood and extended her hand. "You acted quickly and correctly under extraordinary circumstances. The Navy would like to offer you a position in our diplomatic protection course. We need people who can think on their feet and recognize threats." People who understand that sometimes the smallest voices carry the most important warnings. Marcus thought about it for exactly 3 seconds before shaking her hand. That evening, he visited Kira and Lena in their temporary quarters. They looked healthier now, their skin brighter, their eyes less haunted. They were playing with a holographic puzzle, laughing at something. They looked up when he entered, and both smiled. "Thank you," Kira said. "For what?" Marcus asked. "You're the ones who saved thousands of lives." "For listening," Lena said. "For believing us. For treating us like people," Kira added. Not everyone did. Marcus knelt down to their level, as he had that first day in the cargo bay. "You were the bravest people on that ship. Maybe the bravest I've ever met." The twins looked at each other and giggled, a sound so normal and childlike that it made Marcus want to cry. "We were just doing what our parents taught us," Lena said. "To help others when we can. To speak truth even when it is hard. To remember that we are all connected," Kira said. "All species. All worlds. What happens to one can happen to all." Marcus nodded. These two small aliens, who had lost so much, understood something that the galaxy desperately needed to learn. As he left their quarters, Marcus touched the now empty pocket where the data chip had been. 2 frightened children had changed the course of history with their courage. They had reminded him that humanity, for all its achievements, was still vulnerable, still new to this vast and dangerous galaxy, and they had proven that sometimes the smallest among us carry the greatest light.